Well, good morning, everyone. Today we are going to talk a little bit about lessons and things that I have learned since I stopped spending money. I did take a note, so you may see me glance down at my clipboard with my notes because this is an ongoing process with me, but I wanted to open up this topic to all of you, and maybe you can help me and you can join in with the comments, and that way we can talk further on this. Things that changed when I stopped spending money. This is really interesting. I have 4 things written down, but it's a lot more than that. And the first thing I want to tell you is when I stopped spending money, I had less trash. You don't really think about it too much, but all of a sudden, I went from all of this trash that I was having each week to 1 bag, to a half a bag. And this is going to go a lot with the zero waste challenge, which we will be bringing up much later in January. But I'm really studying on less waste. And that's one thing I found. When I stopped spending money, less waste, just like that. And I'm more conscious when I go to the grocery store of what I'm buying, and can I buy it in glass jars? Can I reuse the glass jars? I'm not spending it on convenience things, so I'm really reducing the packaging that I use. Now, a lot of people ask me when they see me go to the discount grocery store, I bring home countless plastic bags. Those bags are reused, so I take them back to the discount grocery store. Right inside the door, they have a big bin where you throw your bags back in and they recycle them. So I do recycle them. I take them back to the store. So I don't bring my own cloth bags. I don't have that many bags. And I just take them back to the store, so they're being recycled. And plus, our community in our township will take plastic bags that they can't dispose of, and they make really neat lawn furniture. So at the park, they will make all kinds of neat benches using the plastic bags and plastic bottles. Yes, you see me use plastic bottles. My husband likes to buy the plastic bottles because he doesn't trust our water, and we do recycle them as well. So, you know, it is a lot of plastic as far as the plastic water, and I would admit to you, I have a long way to go on this journey, but it is a lot less waste. I'm not decluttering as much. Okay, so this is really interesting. The less I bring into my house, the less I have to deal with it. And I think that was one thing that I realized when I was getting hordes and hordes of food and canning it. It was amazing to do that, but I couldn't consume all of it right away. And so for years, you know, I was dusting down everything and cleaning it and keeping it organized. And the less I spend, the less I have to work, and the less I have to clean, and the less I have to declutter. So bags and bags of the thrift store, I mean, it's fun, but it spends money. Plus, I just don't need all of this stuff. And then I end up donating it, which is okay, but I have to deal with it. And for me, it's just easier not to spend and not have so much stuff. So cleaning has been a lot easier for me because I'm not bringing so many bags of things home. I'm using what I have. And as you can see, this room here, I mean, take a look at it. It is half the things in here than what it was a year ago. So I don't have behind the camera like all kinds of shelving of food that you don't see. I don't have any of that because we're using what we got. And it's really nice to come in here. I have a lot of room for chairs. I have a table off to this side of me, and I have more room to do the things that I really enjoy. And I'm using up what I got. And I'm finding that it's been a real blessing to have all that, but now it's the time to use it up. 2026 is the year for make do with what you got, use it up, wear it out. I'm not sure what the saying is. You know what I mean. It's, you know, do with what you got. So, and that's what I'm doing. I have a lot more space. This was another thing I wrote down, and I really touched on that. I mean, look at all the space I have now. I'm not tripping and falling over things and constantly lifting things heavy. oh my, heavy containers of bulk this and bulk that, and 20, 50, 100 pounds of flour. I'm not worried about all of that, and I'm not having to deal with all of that. When I can, and I will be canning, but it's going to be like 6 quarts of something and 5 quarts of something. If I need beans, I will can 6 quarts of beans and wait till the beans are all before I can them again. Not 50 quarts of beans at one time. I couldn't do that physically anymore, and emotionally and mentally I can't either. So, I think a lot of you talked about this, and you said in your twilight years, maybe in the start of the twilight years, I mean, I don't know how long I'll live, but in the twilight years, you start to do the same things, but a little bit less, not so much. And so canning, it's not so much. And I'm not dehydrating as far as commercial dehydrating. I will be dehydrating free of charge using the power of the sun. I got rid of my dehydrators, got rid of vacuum sealers, got rid of all of that. I'm just doing it old school. And I find it so much easier when I want to work on a project, not to have to dig out all of these things, these contraptions and all of these things. And by the time I get everything out, I'm tired. Now I can just go ahead and dehydrate things with the power of the sun. I don't need to have all of these gadgets. I just don't need them because I'm not into doing so much large projects like that. I talked about physical things. So I talked about less room. I talked about physical things. So I talked about having more room. I talked about less trash. I talked about not having to declutter as much. But what has it done, more importantly, mentally? And let me tell you what, it's given my mind freedom to think. Not spending as much money has given me time to think. I know what I have. I can find what I have, which de-stresses me so much. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I want to do a project for YouTube, and I spent 2 hours trying to find all of the stuff to be able to make a video for all of you. At the time when I was ready to make the video, I was completely exhausted. Things stashed in this room and things stashed in that room. It got to the point where I was so tired of having to root around trying to find things. And so emotionally, mentally, it's caused me so much less stress. I know that may sound hard to believe, but it is true for me. I'm talking about for me and my personality and my mentality. Not everybody is like me, but I think that you could say the less you have, the easier it is. And it really is. I mean, I will be honest with you, it is for me. And I think it is for a lot of people. So it's really helped me emotionally. It just helped me to de-stress. I'm not concerned about so much of the stuff that I have. I would come home, and even though I never had a whole lot of stuff compared to what some people do, I would come home and my house would be so cluttered with things I couldn't find, and I couldn't enjoy what I did have. And I see that over and over again with people that are hoarders. They want to hold on to everything, but what's happening is they're holding on to it, but they're ruining it in the same time. They are piling stuff on top of it, piling stuff on top of it, to the point where they don't want to get rid of it because it's special, but they're mistreating it, they're not respecting it, and they're actually ruining it. It makes no sense. So I went through my house and I said, well, I know that rolling pin is important to me, okay? And I'm like, I'm keeping this rolling pin because it was my great-grandmom's. But the 7 other rolling pins I had were just thrift store finds. They had no attachment to me whatsoever. I don't need them. I was getting to the point where I had so many rolling pins that I didn't know what to do with them. I donated them, gave them to people who really could use them. But this one is my great-grandma's, and that one I'm keeping. Same with the books. I had so many special books in my life, but I had so many other books that my Little House on Prairie cookbook, I couldn't find it. I knew I had it somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I got rid of books that I'm done with them. I don't need them anymore. They're not special to me. And now I have my little House on the Prairie book. I could go on and on and on for an hour explaining to you different things. The other thing was my canning. Home canned lard. Here's my lard. I couldn't find it. I canned probably 15 of these and I couldn't find my lard. Why couldn't I find it? Because I had so many jars and jars of other food that I didn't like or wasn't going to use it, or it just didn't serve a purpose to me. So I went through all of my food. If it was something I just absolutely couldn't eat, back 5 years ago, I canned some pepper rings and they were awful. They tasted awful, they were mushy, and I couldn't eat them. Nobody else would want to eat them, so I disposed of them. And then I kept the jars, and as you've seen, I washed the jars up, and then I gave them to the Amish. Also, I received a bunch of jars from somebody else who was canner, and they didn't want the food, and I didn't trust it, but I took the food out, and I gave it to the Amish. So I did a lot of different experimental canning years ago, and the majority of it I loved. But another thing I canned was chicken rice soup. It was horrible. The rice turned into a block of hard, gooey, nasty mess. I couldn't eat it, but I didn't want to throw the food away. So it sat for 5, 6, 7 years in a jar. I knew I wasn't going to eat it. It just verlegeled me so bad. Verlegeled. I don't know if that's a Dutch term or if that's English. Verlegeled means it just made me anxious. So what I did was I took it out, finally washed the jars. So it got to that point. And so now I know what I have. And let me tell you, it has not been an easy ride, and I'm still working on some things. But not spending has given me the opportunity to not keep filling my house. I felt like it all started for me was when at certain times in my YouTube channel, I was 250, 260 pounds. Now I'm under 200. I'm about 180. And I'm a very tall girl. I'm 5'9". But I didn't want to eat. So I didn't want to eat a lot. And so what I was filling my mind and my body was I was buying different trinkets and things like that. And I kind of took one extreme to the other, and then I was buying all these things, and I don't need those things because emotionally they were stressful to me. So the food was physically stressful to me, and all of these things were mentally stressful to me. And now I'm pretty much very even. I like to eat and eat things that I enjoy, but I don't feed my emotions with food, and I don't feed my emotions with the thrift store. I love to go there, and I go there once in a while, and I might find a few things that I really like, but it's not like I'm taking the whole thrift store home with me. Every time I seen something at the thrift store, I thought I had to take it home. Take it home and love. But I can let somebody else love it. So the things that changed when I stopped spending was I became happier, more content, and I really enjoyed the things that I do have now, and things hold a very special part of my heart. Because everything you see here, if you see it in my videos, it is special to me for a reason. And it's not just cluttering up and clunking up my house. There you go, everyone. What's something you learned when you stopped spending money? And what are your goals for 2026? I want to hear it in the comments below. Bye, everybody.